mother. Hello and welcome to Culo del Perro, or as they say in English, my book report. What's that? It still means a dog's asshole. We haven't gotten that changed? On today's episode, I'll be reviewing Decision Points by George W. Bush. I'm just kidding. Today I'll be reviewing. It's like reviewing, but with a U. Today I'll be reviewing William F. Buckley's literary autobiography, Miles Gone By. And in honor of this book, today I decided to shave with a mustache. I decided to do this because at no point during this book does William F. Buckley even mention anything about a man-stache. Strategery. Well, you may be thinking to yourself, well, hell, Micah, anybody can write a book. Johnny Damon wrote a book. But what about this book makes this book special? Well, the fact about this book is it really is a dictionary. If you're not familiar with William F. Buckley, you may remember one of his most famous songs. They say there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for me. That's Jeff Buckley. The first thing I noticed when I opened the book was that there was words on it. William F. Buckley was the founder and long-time editor of National Review, one of the long-time conservative voices in the United States. What he did here is he took some 50-odd essays over that time that he'd written for all kinds of publications, including National Review, and he threw them all together, plus reminiscences that really just blow your mind. If you like to travel, if you like to sail, if you're a writer, if you're a big reader, this book will blow your mind. Buckley was an avid seaman. Seaman. No. The avid sailing Buckley spent a lot of time near the beginning of the book writing about his sailing trips that really just capture the imagination, including this line from page 252 in the chapter entitled Sailing. I resist the word tedium, because sailing can have so many rapturous moments and there are the accompanying pleasures. When you're in the harbor, four congenial people around the table, eating and drinking and conversing, listening to music and smoking cigars. The wind and the hail and the chill outside faced up and face down in your secure little anchorage. Here is a compound of life's social pleasures in the womb of nature. So the decision at the time has come to sail Petito, his boat, and forfeit all that is not lightly taken, bringing to mind the steep yet ahead, which is giving up life itself. It's talking about dying, selling the boat, dying. It's a metaphor. The middle of the book is spent talking about his friends. Near the end of the book, Buckley really hits his denouement, and he gets to the point of politics and where we are as a nation. And isn't it amazing what was true then as it is now? Our notorious political apathy is a related phenomenon. Every year, whether the Republican or the Democratic Party is in office, more and more power drains away from the individual to feed vast reservoirs in far-off places, and we have less and less say about the decisions which shape our future. From this alienation of personal power comes the sense of resignation with which we accept the political dispensations of a powerful government whose hold upon us continues to increase. Buckley was known as a man who used massive words that you probably think were from Old English times. And he countered this point in the book with saying that it's not his fault that he used big words, it's your fault that you don't understand his big words. And he used an anecdote of one time a porter came up to him who was a fan of him, and he said, "Mr. Buckley, if you wouldn't use such big words in National Review, his publication, more people would, the readership would increase by 2-3 times." And he smiled, and he talked about how you just say yes and okay, that's good in public when these people come up to you. And he tells the man, "Okay, I'll consider it." So he sees that same man 1 year later, and the man tells him, "Mr. Buckley, I'm so happy that you took me up on my suggestion of bringing down such big words in your publication?" And Buckley just laughed, and he explained that it's just in the eye of the beholder. If you think that you're reading big words, the more that you read, the more that you learn to understand big words. And that's one of the main things that just blows your mind about this book. And some of the big words, for example, that as you read the book, you sometimes just have to put a question mark next to a word and just say, what is that? Because I had to do that as well. Take, for example, prudence doesn't happen to be the virtue I am myself best at, but I do greatly honor it and do believe that prudence plays or ought to play an important role in the development of paradigmatic political platforms such as ours have sought to be. On a dozen occasions I admitted into the position papers I had drafted modifications, accommodations, emulsifiers, which I thought subtly, intelligently, humanely bent the doctrine to the reality, but each one of them, I happily believe, stopped short of the admittedly impalpable line between prudence and expediency. After about a year of reading on again and off again, I finished 565 pages of this book, and my one thought was, at the end, the best 565-page dictionary I've ever read. In conclusion, if you are a young person who has dreams of making it in a place like New York City or Boston, you would really enjoy this book by William F. Buckley Jr. because it takes you through the life of, really, he's a socialite. He grew up a socialite, and for many people they don't start that way, but they do aspire to something in that manner, especially writers, vain writers, who want to get into that upper echelon and enjoy the banter that Mr. Buckley provides in his book. So I highly recommend it. It is a long read. It is sometimes a difficult read to get through what would probably easier be read in Spanish with some of the words he uses, but it is well worth picking this up either online or at your local bookstore. If you like this, you should follow me on Twitter at Micah Grimes BN9.